Good afternoon, and thanks for joining the Winter What's New in Teamcenter WebEx. What we're going to have a look at over the next 30 minutes is new aspects of Teamcenter 9.1. Specifically, we will be looking at anything that is considered to be a real benefit to our customers. What we won't be looking at is any deep technical review of capability, costings, or configuration of what's in Teamcenter 9.1. Agenda is as follows. We've got a little look at new license types, followed by a brief look at BMIDE. Then we'll look at user interface improvements for the rich client and for the web authoring client. We're going to look at the office integration improvements, content management, systems engineering, and Visualisation Reporting, and Visualization and change management, all which have got little discrete benefits for everybody. So first off, the Teamcenter Occasional Author is a license available at 9.1 for Teamcenter customers. It allows people or users to log in up to 5 calendar days a month and for a total of 20 hours of over the 5 days. Login session is equal to 1 hour consumed. It's intended not for CAD users who would be using Teamcenter hourly, loading and storing and saving work. It's intended for perhaps managers and others who are going to be occasionally authoring information for the business. The user, when they're getting close to their time limit, will get an email warning them that their allocation of hours is nearly up, and the administrator will get a similar email as well, just to warn them that the user is about to lose their login privileges. Also, the ability to audit or report on the licenses that have been used recently, and in this case we're looking at a report that is the user, the type of license they are taking, and then adding any other licenses. In this case, this user is taking Access and VisView Base, and then the month that we're reporting on and the number of hours used and the number of logins and so on. So if the user is issues of, I'm running out of licenses or something like that, the feature here, this reporting tool can help us uncover that. It can also be used to help keep the company compliant with licensing terms and conditions. One change to Business Modeler is the ability now to manage lists of values externally. Prior to Teamcenter 9.1, lists of values, the lists in Teamcenter, had to be managed through BMIDE, and if you had an ERP or MRP system that had a common list of values, then you'd need to update both lists to keep them in sync. You can now allow the master list of value to be managed by the ERP or MRP system, and changes can be pushed out into Teamcenter and managed via BMIDE without any user or administrator action. You don't need to fire up BMIDE anymore and edit it if you wish to. There's been some user interface improvements, so we're going to take a closer look at the rich client now. The client is still laid out in a similar format to the pre-versions, but there are a few key differences. Firstly, to make a working area larger, we can click on this little navigation pane button here, and it removes the left-hand column. If we're working on a large bit of information here, or if we want to increase the space that we have to work in, this little button here will move it, and clicking on it again brings it back again. The other subtle change that's happened in Teamcenter is that now the tabs and panes have a coloured border. We can see here that this Home folder tab has a light cyan border, and it's reflected in both the little dots across the top of each tab. As I click on them, it follows across, but also there's a very subtle cyan blue border. It shows us what windows are related to each other. This window here, the Home folder, and I've currently got this 482.10037 engine selected, the sub of which is being shown here, and it's highlighted by the blue or cyan borders. For example, if we look at my work list, that has a green border. Notice now that the contents and the border has changed to reflect that. So this is a little subtle way of tying things together. There is also a new feature in Teamcenter called the Launchpad. And the Launchpad is just another way of presenting information to the users. You can see here that we've got an engine on our Launchpad. If we want to, for example, go and add things to that, we can go back to Teamcenter and select, for example, this exhaust manifold, right-click it, say, Pin to Launchpad. We go back to Launchpad when it's tagged on there. Launchpad is another way of allowing the users to organize their information in a nice, clear and simple way that suits them. It's not presenting any new information to us, it's just organizing it in a different way, a different fashion. So the Launchpad. Okay, next section is the thin client or the web client. This has been improved as well, and the feel of the thin client or the web interface has been more closely aligned with the rich client, the main Teamcenter application. But also, another major enhancement has been the introduction of embedded visualization. So if we have a look here, we can see this is a snapshot of a thin client. We can see the navigation pane down the left-hand side. See the home folder just as the rich client in the middle, and the viewing pane over on the right-hand side here. We've also got now embedded visualization, so there is no need for a separate window running visualization to view information or JT files related to selected in your home folder. We'll take a closer look at that. We can hear that we've got Teamcenter face open, or in client already open. Down the left-hand side is the navigation bar. We can close that if we wish and collapse it. We can then enlarge a working area to visualize or to use information. Get a series of tabs as well across the top, just as we do in the rich client, that allows us to check or switch between the piece of information that we wish to view. And finally, just as a reiteration, the viewer or the visualization tool is now embedded inside the browser. The integration has been around since about 2009. There has been some recent changes to it, some enhancements to that. We can now push and pull attribute information between Teamcenter and the Office applications. We also get a new and improved markup function, markup management tool, that allows us to track changes to a Word document in a closer, more fine-grained manner. Integration itself, the Office integration itself, has got following capabilities across the product suite. Word, Excel, and PowerPoint can all authenticate, check-in, check-out, save as, insert, view properties, and exchange attributes or properties. So Outlook also allows us to authenticate ourselves in Teamcenter and update our work list and tasks for our inbox. The user interface improvements to Microsoft included the tab here for Teamcenter, and we've got two things now, markup and the attribute exchange, which allows us to push and pull information. Maps are now stored as separate data sets that can be stored and retrieved against the original document from Teamcenter. We'll have a look at this because it's quite useful. Here's the ribbon bar or the menu bar for Teamcenter. We can view and open, save as, navigate, search, check in, check out, just as you would to expect with any Teamcenter integrated application. If Teamcenter users are only authoring Office documents, it'd be more than possible to allow them just to use this interface, this micro look and feel interface with using the rich client if they wished. Markup is new. We're displaying some markup here. We can see that we've got some markup comments down the side here of the Office document, just as we would see with standard Word. But down the right-hand side now, we have a new menu that is showing us the Teamcenter Markup Manager. With 3 markups, if we switch between each one, we're highlighting on the left-hand side exactly what the comments are relating to. For example, this one here, we can see engineer did this comment at this time and date. Here's the comment. This one there was created later, the next day. Highlight something, create a new comment. I can highlight the text in question and then right-click, create markup. And this allows me to do is then enter the values. This colour is wrong, for example, and then hit the green tick and it will create the markup. Can not only who made the markup, but also date and the time. So it's a way of tracking any changes to a document amongst a team of team members. When we leave, it saves these off as separate data sets. All these comments go into Teamcenter as separate pieces of information, and they can be loaded back and reviewed as required. So, had a look at that. Quite a compelling way of working between team members and being able to check and see who's changed what to what document. Content management, we'll have a very quick look at. It's quicker to say what content management is not, and that is a way of managing Word documents. Document management is more than being able to check in and check out files. It is a way of using Excel data and graphics to put together technical publications, manuals, or handbooks. Across manuals and handbooks within a company, there will be common pieces of text, and just like a bill of materials for a manufactured product, individual sections of text or paragraphs can be used in technical publications. So you have one paragraph that is reused in many different documents. Makes the document management slightly complex, but the advantage is you don't have to rewrite the same pieces of text over and over again. And one piece of text requires changing or updating or revising. You only need to do it once rather than do it across many different documents. This is an example of content management here. We're looking at Total Rapid Author, and we used the CAD geometry. This is actually the JT information to create a spare parts manual. So you can see here we've got a wound view, we've got a view here in the 3D window that could be generating a video, and then down here we've got the traditional paper type part list. Because reusing CAD geometry, the ability to compress the time taken to generate technical applications can be significantly improved. No longer do users have to, or technical publications have to wait until there is a physical prototype. It can be, has to be then photographed and maybe lighted before including in the technical publication. Applications can commence as soon as there is CAD geometry and CAD data available to work from. As a way of making sure manuals, workshop instructions, assembly instructions, all that kind of information, spare parts, manuals could be ready for when the components or the product is ready for release. Engineering allows us to capture the requirements of exactly what a product should do before any design starts to take place. Then as the engineers work through that, their design, referencing the document, they can make what's called links back to from the design they've authored back to the requirement they are meeting. End-to-end traceability from customer or internal specs to the actual product that the designers are designing. The other aspect of systems engineering is the ability to author the architecture of a system. Team now has integration to Visio, and it allows us to create high-level functional diagrams and then capture their requirements in a document. Visualization reporting. Now, visualization, the main change to visualization is that the base license of Viewer now the ability to read markup. From Teamcenter 9.1, any markup created downstream would not be visible to a viewer view only or a base license. This has now been removed, and all users have access to markup. The major change is visual reporting. With reporting, users can either use the predefined reports or generate their own reports to give them a visual overview in 3D of what the data is relevant to them. In this case, we've run 2 queries on this engine, and you can see that the lower engine is reporting that all the components in the engine are frozen, presumably ready for publication, and the other engine is giving us back some more information. For example, different statuses on this, and these components has given us a different view. Have a closer look at visual reporting in Linux because it's worthwhile having a look. I've got an engine loaded, and let's say that I'm an engineering designer and I've been tasked with making some changes to this engine. The first thing I need to check is whether I have permission to change the components. And what I can do is use visual reporting to run this and give me some feedback and say, okay, I'd like to see all of the components in this engine that I've picked out by me. And if I execute that query, it goes back to Teamcenter and says, please tell me what can be checked out, and then Teamcenter hands that information back, and you can see that we've got a matched component. We've got 5 components, orange, 1, 2, 3, 4 components that are checked out to me. So I can modify the cylinder head, the exhaust manifolds, and the fan if I need to. I'm to rerun that and say, okay, I'd like to see if there's any components in a flow that I might be aware of. In this case, the flywheel is highlighted in green, so there is no due date on this component. So the engineer a tool to allow them to just check to see what's going on with the design or the assembly they're working on. It also gives the users in Teamcenter a similar level of integration, a tool to report in Visualsation going on. Present information in a really simple, clear, and easy format to understand. The last issue, the second to last issue that we wish to look at is the visual issues. Views now allow us to create incident reports or change management requests directly from within Teamcenter and to capture our concerns, record the issues in a visual format. Have a look at this because it is quite a different way of working with change management. Change management can be a very somewhat challenging subject, and this, I believe, gives everybody a bit more of a chance to make it easy to understand as possible. This is an example of visualization. Use a visual issue. I've created a markup in Visualisation and noted that this charger is lacking in certain planning scenarios. And from that, what we can do is then create what's called a issue or an IR. And see that this is the IR that relates to it. You can see it's been approved and it's closed. And if I expand this, I can see, for example, I've got all these subfolders to manage everything to do with the change. The impact items, this could be a new design of an engine. The reference items, things that are used to support the change request. And the problem items themselves. So we've got the engine, the turbocharger, and the air cleaner all packaged together. We also have the implemented by folder, and if I expand that, can find the engineering change request that was derived from the incident report. You can see here that this is still open, it's elaborating, and it hasn't been worked on yet, but if we expand it, we can see it's copied all the problem items across from the IR, and it's copied the rest items across the IR as well. We also have the implements folder, and gives us a closed loop back to the IR or the incident report that was originally raised. All of this information is copied automatically. So if we want to go ahead and create, for example, a change request from this IR, we can click a derive change, and at a point creating a change request. I'll then prompted to fill out some information such as the description. This is a problem. And if I was to go ahead and click finish now, because propagate relations is ticked, all of the information is attached to this IR would automatically be attached to the change request. It gives a single method of linking the concern or the issue through to the change request. Today, we've had a look at the new licensing types with the casual author or the occasional author, BMIDE and its list of values management. We've had a look at the improvements to the user interfaces of the RIC and thin clients. We've had a look at the Office integration, particularly the ability to manage markups. We've had a very brief overview of content management, systems engineering, and then finally with visualization or reporting and change management. So I'd like to thank you very much for your attendance and hopefully speak to you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.